Going on, everybody? This is Dave from Post Rock Promo. I'm here with Matt from the Wolf Howls When I Scream Your Name. How's it going, Matt? Long time no see.
Yeah, man, I'm good at you.
I'm doing great, man. Appreciate you coming on again. Let's dive right into it. So you guys just dropped a new album, Grief Songs, in October. How's the response been?
Yeah, fucking last time we spoke, like before that was out, I was kind of a bit like unenthusiastic about what we'd put out, but unenthusiastic. I just don't know how to speak. Brilliant. The first single blew up more than anything I've ever put out in my time in music, and like the second single got 31k views on YouTube. We played some wicked shows in support of it with our mates in Branch to Root and Bear Away, who are our label buddies. We've had some cool reviews, not even paid a great deal towards PR or anything, just kind of the label helped us. And I've had some touching words said by people about it, to be honest, where it's helped them, and it's the subject, obviously, of the record is pretty close to home, so it's meant a lot.
That's awesome, man. So how did the writing and recording process for this album differ from your previous work?
The biggest difference is we sat in a room and made sure that this was all rehearsed live, like, just because we'd kind of gone a bit mad in the studio in the past. And kind of live, some of the songs didn't stand up, and this time we were just like, it's locked down, let's just make this as cohesive and hard-hitting live as possible. It sounds better live, like, and it's the only record I've ever been able to say that about. So, like, like a punk kind of epic thing, just like, no, just really simple. Like, we were a bit more experimental on past records, and I think I needed a bigger band behind me to pull that off. But Sam, my drummer, doesn't want another guitar player, and it was cool, that tour that we did in support of it. And we're just on the cusp of finishing booking another one, so we're still going to keep supporting that record.
That's awesome, man.
Nice one.
So what bands influenced you when it came to putting this album together?
Well, I've always viewed Wolf Howls as a bit of a changing thing, like I hate the idea of us doing like an album after this that's going to sound like that, but I think Wolf Howls' biggest influences are Thrice, Julian Baker, and at the same time we have a few nods to bands like Alice in Chains and Super Heaven and Failure. It's within that like 90s spectrum, but them really. And I think because we've been writing it like for the purpose of being a free piece, kind of, though I know they're not a free piece, kind of a bit more of a straightforward punk ethic to it, like the Menzingers or something. But more Thrice are kind of where we're at, I think, like kind of in between the dark thing and the emo thing. Like, if you bit more, I think we don't sound like Taking Back Sunday, but we also don't sound like a grunge band.
Right.
Thrice are kind of the big fish.
There's some awesome bands right there.
Yeah, well, Alice in Chains are my favorite band of all time. So,
what's your favorite song by them?
By Alice in Chains? So,
Yeah.
Frogs. Have you ever heard that one?
No.
It's on the towards the end of their time with Lane Staley. The last album is like a dog with 3 legs on it.
Right.
It was kind of like you can hear it, if you know what I mean. You can hear that none of them were in a good place, and it's not like Dirt where it just was like banger after banger.
Yeah.
Pop songs, like pop metal songs or whatever, grunge. But really like fucking out there music. But I love every Alice in Chains record. I still like them without Lane Staley. I'd obviously love to have seen them with Lane Staley.
Right.
But I've seen Alice in Chains anyway.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, man, it was fucking killer. It's probably the second best gig I've ever seen.
Jerry Cantrell.
Yeah, the King. One of the last.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, man. I don't really, I haven't listened to him too much. I mean, I've listened to songs like Rooster, but yeah, I don't really listen to him a whole lot.
Yeah, well, it's one of them. Like they're an old band now, really. You know what I mean? The Rooster's a tune, though. It's one of them. Like it's just like I love all that era of music, really. Like I've been really sad this week about the passing of Mark Lanegan. Like it's like I'd been listening to him obsessively for like months, and then my girlfriend went to me like, "What's up with you?" Because I was like a bit choked up looking at my phone, and it was on in the background.
Right.
And I was like, for fuck's sake! I was like thinking, I'm just able to start going to gigs again, and the person I wanted to go and see, I now can't. But yeah, Nirvana, Queens of the Stone Age, Chains, and all that. That's my favorite music, really.
Okay. Yeah, Screaming Trees, they had a huge influence on tons of bands and tons of fans.
Well, I think they kind of got dealt a really shit hand, the Screaming Trees, because like they were kind of there before a lot of the big bands, before Nirvana and Chains and Soundgarden and Pearl Jam. But they didn't get that big. But
right,
you get people like that though, don't you? Where it's like they're your favorite band's favorite band, like Sonic Youth.
Yeah, that's funny how that works.
Yeah, I think some people don't have the aptitude to kind of take in more kind of complicated, less straightforward music, if you know what I mean.
Right.
That makes sense, obviously. Like Nirvana wrote simple songs, and that's why they were the biggest band out of all of them. Because technically they were the best in a way,
right.
though the most musically. Kurt Cobain was the worst guitar player out of all of those bands.
But he had a very unique voice. His voice stood out from the crowd.
Yeah, well, he was the best songwriter as well. There was no messing with that. He loved the Beatles and stuff, didn't he?
Right.
So it's just songwriting 101. It's the same when you listen to something like Oasis. It's just, you can say it's lame and all that because you listen to Slow Dive and whatever, like me, like most people that like what we like. But I'm sorry, that's good music. They're good songs. It's just a different thing, isn't it? It's a different area of music.
Yeah, no, I tell people, I'm not trying to, be biased because I was born and raised in the 90s, but I think 90s is one of the best eras for music because of bands like My Bloody Valentine and Slow Dive and Oasis and Nirvana, and Cocteau Twins, Jesus and the Mary Chain, Joy Division.
Just all that stuff is the coolest stuff. Like, my like second favorite band ever, the Brian Jonestown Massacre. If it wasn't for like all those bands you just listed, like they did it just after all those bands. Like Anton Newcombe says that like that post-punk movement and all that made him think, and it made loads of people think. I think it made me think when I first started listening to Title Fight or whatever, like, oh, I could do that. You know, instead of like rock bands where it's like, that just can't be done.
Right.
It's the 90s is my favorite era of music, hands down. The
That's
80s,
awesome.
yeah, man. 10 years too late. No, I was born then as well, but I was too young.
Very cool. All right, man. Last question. So before this, we were talking about how you've been working with Engineer Records. So when it came to this release, how was working with them, and like how was the process?
It was really good. They were just honest and not. They didn't really. It wasn't money driven. Put us in touch with some bands from like Scarborough and London and stuff, and you know, got us some shows going for it. As they helped us with PR for no money, and got us like crazy good YouTube views, and they're sorting us out a run of vinyl soon, and we've got like 150 CDs. They've been great. We're on about going with them again for what we're going to do next, which we should record in about 3 months or something.
That's awesome.
Nice, man.
Well, I really appreciate you, man, coming on and chatting it up again. The new album is really good. Everybody that's out there, definitely check it out. It's really, really good. And you guys are absolutely killing it right now. And again, really appreciate the support. It means the world to me, like you and all the other bands that I work with and I'm friends with. You guys keep me going and remind me why I love doing this so much every day. So for that, I'm forever grateful.
I'll keep doing it, man. That's the reason we do it too,
We're all in this together.
Yeah, man, of course we are.
So for the people that are going to watch this later, where can they find your music at?
YouTube, Spotify, Bandcamp, most of it, I don't know where we're not, but I probably shouldn't say everywhere because there's probably somewhere we're not.
Most places. Your music's on most places.
Yeah, you can find us in most places.
That's awesome, dude. Well, hopefully you have a great night, and we'll chat soon.
Yeah, man. Let's speak soon. Nice to see that you're doing well.
Likewise. See you later.
See you later, dude.